Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a different kind of video. We are going to be checking out the Jewish iceberg today. The Israel iceberg. Sorry, not the Jewish iceberg. I'm on with a friend from the Discord community, Jack. How you doing, Jack?
Hello. Hey.
He sent me the Reddit post of this Jewish or Israel iceberg. I keep saying Jewish iceberg. I'm sure there's a Jewish one also, right?
Oh, for sure.
For sure there's a Jewish one. So we're gonna plop into this.
This is from the R Israel subreddit, and it was made by a guy named Butt Naked Commando.
Butt Naked Commando. Here we go. The Jewish iceberg. I've never done an iceberg video before. I'm honored and excited to be on this journey with you guys. We've got a lot to go through. We'll pull up some resources on the side to sort of read as we go through. But maybe we should just start the discussion. I don't know. Like, should we just begin from the top to the bottom and really just go deep into it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea of an iceberg.
Yeah.
Although, I gotta say, probably most of the stuff near the top, almost everyone will know.
Right.
As we get further down, obviously these things get more niche, and some stuff that you and I will probably be learning a lot about.
I find it kind of funny, like at the top here, that we have both Gal Gadot, Natalie Portman, Netanyahu, Hamas. Like it's like it has parallels from two opposite sides of the spectrum. Like Gal Gadot is more seen as like the Zionist Jewish actress that made it into Hollywood. Natalie Portman, very much so the opposite of that. Like Natalie Portman has been pretty awful when it comes to Israel. I don't know if you guys are you aware of that, Jack?
No, I don't really pay attention to Hollywood.
Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with Natalie Portman, this is who Natalie Portman is. She's you're a Star Wars person.
She was
no?
born in Israel, though, right?
She was born in Tel Aviv. She's like one of the main actresses from Star Wars. If I may be.
Oh yeah, she was in Star Wars.
I'm gonna be shit on for this because I'm not a Star Wars person, but yeah, she's been pretty critical of Israel over the years. I'm sure that she's taking a general stance of standing with Israel at the time, but she's definitely not been any friend to Israel, I would say, from Hollywood. Gal Gadot, on the other hand, our queen, she very much has been. She's been phenomenal. She's been like a pretty unapologetic Zionist through the entire October 7th and beyond horrible situation that we're in. But Gal Gadot has been amazing. Like she's great. Also, I don't know if have you seen the films? Have you seen like the Wonder Woman movies, Jack?
Yeah. I saw at least the first one.
They're great.
It was good.
Yeah, they're great. So it's funny that we have like that. We have two of the opposite sides of the spectrum. That we have Netanyahu and Hamas, like as if it's like two opposite sides of the spectrum.
Well, I think it's more like just like knowledge based. So like Netanyahu, the current prime minister of Israel, and correct me if I'm wrong, the longest running prime minister
longest running.
He's been in office the longest. You should know who Bibi Netanyahu is if you know anything about Israel and what's been going on recently. Same thing, Hamas, right? Hamas has been in the news tremendously, and they are the main terrorist organization that runs the Gaza Strip. You should know who Hamas is.
Yeah, this is like basic Israel, like Israel 101. I find it funny that on like block A at the top, they put Elan Ramon. Are you familiar with who Elan Ramon is, Jack?
I'm actually not. I was going to ask. There's a couple on here that I actually didn't know.
So Elan Ramon is Israel. He was Israel's first astronaut, and he blew up in the crash.
Oh.
I forgot which one is Colombia. Yeah, I dressed up as him on Purim when I was a kid. Like I have a costume. Me and Rudy Rockman, actually, I believe Rudy also when we were kids at Jewish Day School. We both, me, him, his brother, and my sister. I believe we all dressed up as him that year because we were all like so prideful that an Israeli that one of us like made it to space. You know, it was like the coolest thing ever. And he died tragically on the way back down. Actually, their family, the Ramon family, has the most tragic like Israeli death story ever. His like son was a fighter jet pilot, died in a crash. His other son also died in a crash. I think the wife ended up committing suicide. It was a really a really horrific story. Like they've got a very, very sad family story. Very, very sad.
They're like the Kennedys of Israel.
Yeah, I would say something adjacent, even though they're not really politics, just like astronauts.
No, yeah.
But yeah, like weird to see his name up here amongst everything else. Like kind of strange.
No, I knew his story. I just didn't know the name off the top of my head. So I think it makes sense to stick him up at the top. The other one that I'm not familiar with is Merkava.
Milkava is I believe it's from the Golan Heights. It was Milkava has a few meanings. It's like the tank that fought off in the Golan Heights back in the yeah, there's a famous story of the Syrian when the Syrians were attacking and the Milkava units were holding the line. So like, but it has a few meanings. Milkava is not just a tank. But yeah, that's the main, which is also funny that's like in the first top tier. Kind of weird. I have to say, to be completely honest with you. Like, there's stuff here that's relevant. There's also stuff here that a little bit like Iron Dome, I feel like makes sense. Itamar Ben-Gvir obviously makes a little bit of sense because he's like a hot topic right now.
Maybe you should explain for the viewers just in case,
Itamar,
real quick, on
what
each
get,
point is.
I don't want to get too deeply into Ben-Gvir because we're going to get a fire lit up on our asses, but let's just say he's a controversial...
Well, he's an Israeli politician.
Controversial Israeli politician, yeah. I think let's move to this next tier. I'm uncomfortable right now. Let's go down. I like where we're starting off with Operation Entebbe. Don't mess with the Zohan. Definitely, I would even say that could have been at the top of the iceberg because Fizzy Bubulach runs through... I mean, debatably runs through all of our DNAs at this point, correct?
Yeah, so just Don't Mess with the Zohan is a movie with Adam Sandler, right?
Of course, Adam.
And I think all of us have collectively watched it like a billion times. Pretty funny movie making fun of or bringing to light the Israeli like coming to America experience.
It's really funny. Like these are like a lot of conversation pieces that would be found at like, I would say like lower tier understanding Israelis. And then like the other side would be like high tier, really competent Israelis. Like Haj Amin al-Husseini is both for like the top tier and for the bottom tier of the Israeli echelon when it comes to conversation. So like Haj Amin al-Husseini, if you guys don't know, was the only time there ever was a Palestinian leader in the history of Palestine, and this is especially prior to Palestinian identity really being a thing, was Haj Amin al-Husseini. He was the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, and a known anti-Semite. He was hanging out with Hitler and also like made grand plans to basically assassinate all of the Jews of Palestine at the time, the Jews that were living before the creation of the state of Israel. Here, like first thing when you look up his name now, which I think is really important. No, Jack, like this should be the first thing you see.
He's
when
a
you
very
look
important figure.
Yeah, like you should see this. And always like the talking points from like pro-Palestinian zealots are always like, oh, but the Jews were working with the Zionists, or the Jews were working with the Nazis. The early Zionists were working with the Nazis. It's like, all right, save me your crocodile tears as if you really care of who the Jews. The only leader of Palestine ever was literally like best friends with Hitler and like working on a plan to actually murder all of the Jews in this land prior to the creation of the state of Israel. So he
also, fun fact, many people say he looks like Ryan Gosling.
He does oddly look like Ryan Gosling, which I don't know about you, but I kind of pin him down as the white colonizer. I don't know. Just me. I look a little bit more indigenous than him. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to say it as an asshole. I'm being serious. Look at him and look at me. Who looks more Arabian? Who looks more Levantine? Not this guy. And I say that as a joke. That's coming through like a racial lens from the West, who always like to make, as if you're going to make a claim to me that like people in the Levant look one certain way. That is so stupid and racist. That is like the dumbest, most racist thing you could possibly do. Anyways, Gene.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. Gene Simmons. He's an actor, no? Gene Simmons, isn't he like an Ashkenazi?
No, he's from Kiss, the band.
Oh, right. He's a lead singer of Kiss, no?
That I don't know. I'm not a big Kiss fan, but
who was I getting?
I know he's in it.
Who was I getting confused with? Gene Simmons. I was getting confused with somebody else.
Yeah, there he is.
I think I was getting.
I don't know what his connection is to Israel. Maybe search Gene Simmons.
I'm pretty sure he's
Israel?
a staunch Zionist. I think I was getting confused. Gene Simmons with Gilbert Gottfried. That's who I got confused with.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried, I believe, is Jewish.
He is Jewish, 100%. Yeah, he's like the most Jewish possible. I like that, like, Drew's in the IDF, which is like another big talking point, kind of like Haj Amin al-Husseini, which I feel like we have a toxic tendency as Israelis to also drop, like, on a regular basis. Be like, well, there's Druze in the IDF. Like, there's Arabs serving with us as well. It toxic in, like, not a bad way, but like I think these two things are, like, pretty adjacent as well. Like, Druze in the IDF and Ethiopian Jews, like, we do have a toxic tendency, and I acknowledge it, to sometimes use, like, a colorist sort of narrative or like a racist sort of narrative to, like, prove our point. Like, hey, there's black people amongst us. There's Arabs amongst us.
It's also something, though, that people in the West frequently don't know.
It's true. It's a necessary evil.
That's why it's brought up so much, is because it's frequently something that people don't know about.
It's a necessary evil. Also, like the 6-Day War and the Yom Kippur War, most of our parents and grandparents who lived here, who grew up here, were involved in those wars. And, like, they were both horrific wars, which we miraculously won. So they're talking points. I didn't even touch on Operation Entebbe. If you guys don't know what Operation Entebbe is, it's probably one of the most epic... You know about it, right, Jack?
Oh, yeah. I've watched, like, they made, like, 3 movies about it.
Operation Entebbe is, like, probably one of the most epic Israel lore that exists. And it is...
You want to give, like, a quick rundown of it?
Yeah, like, Yoni Netanyahu, Bibi Netanyahu's brother, was killed in this operation. Is basically when a plane was hijacked with a bunch of Israelis and flown here. I think this may be the map. Flown to Uganda with the attempt, and I believe it was by Palestinians, with an attempt to kill them all. And then there was a covert operation by Israelis. This was in the fucking 70s, which is so crazy cool, where they saved everyone besides one hostage who wasn't killed during the actual hostage taking. I believe he was killed on the plane before, and only one soldier who was killed, who is Benjamin Netanyahu's brother, Yoni Netanyahu. So it's a pretty epic. Yeah. It's a pretty epic story from Israel's lore as a creation. It's something that, like, most of us carry with us. Like, we know that story. Also, fun fact, I don't know if it's going to be on here or not, but, like, Uganda was one of the proposed random locations where they wanted to relocate Jews. But, like, the Zionists were like, why? We're not from Africa. But that was one of the countries where they wanted to relocate. They wanted to create the state, like a Jewish state in Uganda at one point. It was a talking point. I don't really know why the Dead Sea Scrolls are up here.
I think they're like, they take, most people don't know, but I think one of the cool things is it's one of the, what they found, for those who don't know, is a bunch of scrolls by a small cult of Judeans that were living around the time of the destruction of the second Jewish temple. And I think we have the oldest living fragments that are connected to the Torah because of these finds. But there's a lot of very interesting discoveries that they made by uncovering these scrolls that were near the Dead Sea.
Oh my God, we have so much to go through. We're like literally at the second tier. We're already like 15 minutes into this video. Oh my God. All right, fuck it. Let's just go. Let's go and see what we can do.
Whoa. Hold on. Okay. No, we could go to the third tier now.
Yeah, I mean, also Abu Mazen Holocaust. Deeper. Abu Mazen Holocaust denial, just as a heads up, for those of you guys who don't know who Abu Mazen is, he is Mahmoud Abbas, the leader of the Palestinian Authority, and he consistently denies the Holocaust. I'm not trying to make this like a Hasbara video. It's just like we're actually going through this stuff, and I'm sure that some people don't know that Abu Mazen and Mahmoud Abbas, those names are interchangeable. Okay, let's go in. We're officially below the water, Jack. Congratulations, we're underwater.
Oh boy, I'm holding my breath.
Here we go. Where do we want to start?
I think start like try. Well, we should try and keep some order to it.
Okay.
So we start from like the top left and try and make it all the way down to the bottom right.
I'm gonna choose to start off with the USS Liberty attack because I think it's something that we don't talk about enough in the Israel community. I would say it is something that anti-Semites, specifically American anti-Semites, use frequently against us as a point to demonize the state of Israel. Obviously, in war, there are mistakes. They happen all the time. They're horrific mistakes where this was an attack that Israel accidentally committed against a U.S. naval vessel, killing, I believe, wounded 171 crew members. Killed 34. It was a horrific attack. There's been a documentary made about it to demonize Israel, and it was a horrific thing. It's a blemish on Israel's reputation. It's something I think that is the entire nation were very, very, very embarrassed of, and it's not something that people like walk around with pride. But it's something that's frequently used by our haters to sort of prove like that we are some sort of evil anti-America country who wants the worst for the U.S. Yeah.
It's a great explanation.
It's obviously it's a horrible thing. It's like a horrible thing, and there's nothing else you can really say about it. It's a horrible accident that happened, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I should mention the dates. I think that's probably important. June 8th, 1967.
It was the 60s, no?
1967. Yeah. Let's see here. We've got...
Well, if we're going to be next to that, what's the Lavon affair?
The Lavon affair?
Lavon affair.
Actually, I have no idea. Could you educate me?
I had no... That's why I didn't know what it was.
Let's take a look. I don't know. I'm not familiar with... I'm not going to say I'm familiar with all of these, Lavon affair was a failed Israeli covert operation codenamed Operation Suzanna conducted in Egypt. Oh, was this by the Karaite Jew? I may have actually read about this week. Wait, let me see if this is. I'm going to actually be making it in person. No, it's not. Okay, never mind. Lavon affair was a failed Israeli covert operation codenamed Operation Suzanna conducted in Egypt in the summer of 1954 as a part of a false flag operation. A group of Egyptian Jews were recruited by Israeli military agents to plant bombs inside Egyptian, American, and British-owned civilian targets, cinemas, libraries, and American educational centers. The bombs were timed to detonate several hours after closing. The attacks were to be blamed on the Muslim Brotherhood, Egyptian communists, unspecified malcontents, or local nationalists with the aim of creating a climate of sufficient violence and instability to induce the British government to retain its occupying troops in the Egypt-Suez Canal zone. It was kind of like it was a false flag operation. There you go.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Probably another blemish on Israeli, on the Israeli.
Yeah, clearly.
Clearly another blemish. Mossab Hassan Youssef, I think, is a great one to get into. If you guys don't know, they also call him the Green Prince. He's an absolute badass. He's been through a freaking horrific, terrible life, and he's an outspoken supporter of Israel. He's also known as the son of Hamas. Grew up, I believe, in the West Bank by literally one of the founders of Hamas, and has completely rejected their ideology and their hate, and is like now a staunch, outspoken agent of Zionist Hasbara. Probably the best person we have, I would say. One of. He can sometimes be very high-strung, I would say, but in like a very Arab way, which I think is necessary, because like at the end of the day, he is. But like, I think he's one of the best people we have in this space because he immediately shuts down all the color politics that they do in the West very frequently.
All right.
Honestly, I don't know a lot of these in here. I got to be completely honest with you.
Well, the Houthi flag mentions death to Israel. It also mentions death to America, if I'm not mistaken.
Here's the Houthi flag for you guys. If anybody's the Houthi flag is funny that it's even in here. I don't know why it would be in here. Just because.
Can I just say, by the way, this is a really poorly designed flag.
Horrible flag. What are you gonna expect from Yemen? You know what I'm saying? So it.
Yeah. Wow! I forgot that it mentions that a curse upon the Jews.
Yeah, so, at the top it says Allah is great, death to America. Death to Israel, a curse upon the Jews, victory to Islam. And people in New York City thought it was appropriate to like walk around with these flags throughout the last couple months. It's been like a cool, hip, very woke thing to do. So that's Wonderful and very inviting to the Jews of America. So happy that that's been going on. Let's move down. I feel like this tier is like not so interesting, to be completely honest with you. Okay, here we are.
All right, we're going deeper.
Wow, Falama Circassians. I was just there. It's really funny. Okay, Falama Circassians is an interesting one. It's like that's like some real like deep Israel shit that like I only discovered this year. So here's Falama. If you guys haven't watched my donkey video where I walked around, should we just plug it? Let's just plug it. We're already on here.
Yeah, plug the video. It's a great video.
Let's plug it. So one of my best works, I think, so far. This is a video where I walked with donkeys across northern Israel. Wow. You build your own workflow?
I love ads.
We're just going to... want to 480p that shit. So this is a video about walking in the footsteps of Jesus, but along the journey I was brought to Falama, the Circassian village, where they have everything in Cyrillic. So this is like a group of people who are ethnically cleansed from Russia in like the late 1700s and early 1800s. They adopted Islam under the Ottoman Empire, who gave them refuge when Israel was occupied by the Ottoman Empire. They live now as like fully fledged and devoted citizens to the state of Israel. They serve in the army. They're integrated very well. To be honest, I've never met one before coming to this village. They do seem to be like a little bit more of a closed off community. They drive around in golf carts. That's kind of their thing. Very interesting. They've got some dope baked goods, and like this is what their town looks like. This is one of their towns, Falama. They have a Circassian museum there that documents the history. It's also like a cool, like kind of like you got to be in Israel to kind of understand this thing if you don't know about it. Also totally breaks the narrative of like Palestinians or Muslims in this land being like one ethnic group known as Palestinians. It really does break that completely. Are there any here that you want to tackle? There's so much.
I saw the Samson option, which is, as far as I know, like Israel using its nuclear arsenal, or its hidden nuclear arsenal, or not so secret nuclear arsenal.
Which one is that? The
and
Samson.
It's obviously referring.
Option.
It's referring to a biblical character who goes by the same name, Samson. That he had strength, like really strong, like almost super strength, and basically he was captured by the Plishtim in Gaza, and he was tied to two pillars that had like the whole town that was like watching him. And basically, right before he died, he asked God to give him strength one last time, and he pulled the pillars around the building down, and the whole building collapsed, killing him and all the Plishtim that had captured him.
Wow, that's
so cool reference.
Yeah, that's an interesting story, actually. There's actually there's a lot of really good ones here. The underwater restaurant is like a cool restaurant from Eilat. There's like an underwater observatory there. Restaurant. So you can see this is it. I don't know if it still operates. I've never been to it. I've been to the observatory. I've never been to the restaurant though. But it was like this is like a typical thing from like the early 2000s. It was pretty popular. The Cholon Samaritans. Shout out to the Samaritans and shout out to Cholon, even though I'm not a big fan of that city. It's the city where most of my family lives in. The Cholon Samaritans are the other branch of the Samaritans. So there's Samaritans that live on Har Grizim. This is this region, right outside of the city of Nablus or Shechem, where they've been for the last 3,000 years. There's another group of them that are more, I would say, the more Zionist Samaritans that are really integrated into Israeli society. They live in the city of Cholon, right outside of Tel Aviv. Wow, we've got so many in here. I don't know what the hell the IDF sperm retrieval unit is, but I don't think we can get into it.
I was gonna bring up that one as well.
I don't think we can get into it on this because this video might get shot down.
The one that I wanted to mention real quick because I did do a little research on it is the 2017 clown epidemic.
Okay, pull it. Tell me about it. I'll pull up some pictures for now.
Sure, there was just a bunch of, I guess, like young teenagers or like young adults who were in Tel Aviv that were wearing clown costumes and kind of freaking people out.
Yeah,
in 2017.
I'm fairly certain that this was like a trend around the world. Like this was like I do remember hearing about this. It was like happening in America as well. Like people were terrorizing other people in clown suits. But here's is this Haaretz? Yeah.
Oh, was it connected to it?
Creepy clown craze hits Israel streets, grabbing police attention. Police detain. Shit. What are you giving me an intermediate fasting article? Police detained 15 Israeli youth, some under the age of 12, who dressed up in clown costumes and frightened passerbys as inspired by the international trend. Yeah, see, I knew it was an international thing. It wasn't an Israel exclusive thing, but yeah, definitely weird. Like not a cool thing. God, there's so much here. Karaites,
maybe let's just do one more from this.
Karaites in Jerusalem, super cool community. Like that's going to be a... I feel like Rudy Rochman is going to be on this article. I don't know why. I feel like he's going to be in here somewhere. Magneto, he's Jewish. I don't really know what else I can add.
He was in the Holocaust.
He was in the Holocaust, correct. All right, let's go down.
I mean, he's a comic book character.
We've spent enough.
Wait, hold on, real quick, last one.
Okay.
Farfour the Mouse.
I don't know Farfour the Mouse.
You don't know Farfour?
No, I'll look him up.
Google it.
Farfour the Mouse?
So Farfour is a Palestinian Mickey Mouse.
Oh, I do know Farfour the Mouse. I know Farfour. I didn't know he had a name.
He was famously murdered by fake IDF troops.
Wow.
In a video.
Amazing. This is why they're ready to murder us, is because they killed him.
Poor Farfour.
Yeah. Poor Farfour.
I like just that.
Farfour the Mouse. All right.
He looks like Mickey Mouse on crack. All right, let's go deeper.
We're really in here. We're really in it now. Oh my God, there's so much. My eyes are like going. Okay, we should start with Aiv Land. Do you know about Aiv Land, Jack?
No.
Oh my God, Aiv Land is like pure. Wow, my spelling right here.
Oh wait, is it that little nation?
Yes.
That's like two people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aiv Land is like prime Israel lore. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's pretty hilarious. So this is him. This is founder of Aiv Land. It's an independent nation state, city state, town state. I don't really know what it's called. I've never been to it before. I'd love to visit some point. It's on the border of Israel and Lebanon. I don't think anywhere really believes it's its own country.
Yeah, it's not recognized, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think it's a recognized thing, but there you go. There's a little map for you guys. Okay, thanks Google. Appreciate you not zooming in. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Aiv Land. It's a small, very weird thing. Actually, it could be interesting to try to go make a video there. I wonder though if he's like, I don't know if the guy is like a far leftist thing. It's a micronation located in the ancient ruins of Aiv, an ancient settlement on the Mediterranean coast in the Western Galilee. From the micronation's name is derived. It was found by Eli Avivi in 1971. Micronation is promoted by the Israeli Minister of Tourism. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know it was like a thing that Israel promoted.
Oh.
Cool.
I guess it is a cool tourist spot.
Yeah, we'll need to go make a video about it maybe. Rosh Hanikra is like, I wonder what's going on with that place now, by the way, because this place has been bombed heavily by Hezbollah since the beginning of the war. Rosh Hanikra is where it's really located. These are like the grottos or the caves that exist on the northernmost western tip of Israel, right on the border of Hezbollah, of Lebanon's Hezbollah, southern Lebanon. And it is where like there's this famous cable car that passes through. It's also where the old Ottoman railway was. So Aiv Land is like a pretty cool part of Israel lore. I will say I'm gonna give a quick shout out. Up here we have the Mossad Dolphins. Gotta give a shout out to the shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, let's see it.
Can you see it well? I don't know if I'm showing it off well. Should I go lower?
There you go. Oh, yeah.
Check that out, ladies and gentlemen. We got merch specific to the video. You got your Traveling Clat logo. You got your Zionist combat dolphins. The Mossad dolphins shooting laser beams out of their eyes. If you want to cop that merch, check it out down below in the description. There's a link to all my merchandise. We do new launches all the time. We got a bunch of cool shit coming out. So check it out. Buy some Traveling Clat merch and support the channel. It's a great way to do it as well and get some cool swag for yourself, especially if you support the Mossad Dolphins. Jack, I'm going to let you carry away the explanation of the Mossad Dolphin while I put up some pictures of it. These are the dolphins, as you can see, the Zionist dolphins commandos. This is what, and when we say combat dolphins, we mean actual combat dolphins. Like they're not believed to be just spies. They're believed to be actual combat dolphins. This is what there's a diagram here that shows what their weaponry looks like. We'll pull it up. Israel. There you go. This is like Jack, you were saying that you're not 100% sure this is real?
Definitely, I'm a little skeptical, but
it's real. It's real. It is real. It's real. All right, let's see. Anything else on this one? On this tier that we did a Aiv Land, we did the Mossad Dolphins. Oh, nuclear landmines in the Golan is amazing. Do you know about like the landmines in the Golan?
No, I had no idea.
So the Golan Heights, like, it's peppered with landmines from like the wars that happened there. So basically, like between the 1950s, 1960s, there were just like a bunch of landmines. So everywhere you go in the Golan, you cannot hike by accident, and it happens very frequently that people die from just stepping on a landmine in the area because there's so many. It's like a known thing that you can't hike there. You don't drive off random roads. You got to be very careful to not end up stepping on a landmine by accident. And it does happen every year that somebody dies from a landmine that was placed there. So, yeah. I don't know what the nuclear ones are, though. I don't know if that's just a figure of speech. Yeah, I think that was just like maybe a figure of speech for the amount that are there. I would also add... I want to look up what Khalid Mashal's Spider-Man fentanyl shooter is. Khalid Mashal Spider-Man fentanyl shooter? What in the world is that? Khalid Mashal, if you guys don't know, is kind of like the de facto leader of Hamas now that Ismail Haniyeh is dead, and he just basically called for a third intifada. I don't know what this is. I can't find anything about this. Anything, Jack? You know about this?
No idea.
I don't know what that is. Colin Michelle's Spider-Man fentanyl shooter. No idea what that could be.
Well, this is probably a good time to mention that if people really enjoy this and this ends up doing really well, we'll do a full video doing much more of an in-depth breakdown. Right now, we're just doing more of an overview.
Yeah, this is an overview. It's a light, almost 1 hour overview. This video could be 7 hours, I think. All right, we're going to move down. Yeah, we'll move down a little bit.
We're getting deeper.
We're almost there. We're almost at the bottom. We got 3 layers left. Oh my god.
All right, what's the secret 1967 plan by Israel to nuke itself?
I don't know, but we got to look it up. Secret 1967 Israel nuke itself. Oh my god, it was a real thing. Last secret of 1967 wars, Israel's doomsday plan for nuclear display. On the eve of Arab-Israeli war 50 years ago this week, Israeli officials raced to assemble an atomic device and developed a plan to detonate it atop a mountain in the Sinai Peninsula as a warning to the Egyptian and other Arab forces, according to an interview with a key organizer. Oh, okay. Called it a doomsday operation by Yitzhak Yaakov, the retired brigadier general, who described it in an interview who had been invoked if Israel feared it was going to lose the 1967 conflict. It was like okay, I see.
Yeah, I get it.
Israel won the war so quickly the atomic device was never moved to Sinai.
It's probably very similar to the Samson option.
Yeah. It seems to be like there's a story of like, I'm actually surprised it's not on here, like the Jews of of Masada who like ended up committing suicide when they knew that the Romans were going to come and torture and rape them and murder them. Our enemies, like who surround us, they don't like take prisoners and like just you don't just get to like integrate into society. Like if they come.
Actually, by the way, fun fact about the Masada story: it might not actually have happened the way that it was described.
Like the committing suicide.
Yeah, just because we only have one source for it, and the source is not the most reliable.
Okay.
Historian. I'm just off the top of my head. It was a Jewish rebel that joined the Romans. I'm just forgetting his name off the top of my head.
Regardless of the fact that the story is something along the lines of like when the Romans were approaching, they prepared to commit suicide, and then they did, to not be taken hostage, to not have to convert and proselytize, and to not to have to live under Roman rule. And I think that's probably a similar idea.
It's also most countries have a nuclear deterrent for a reason.
Yeah.
Like same thing. If Russia launched nukes around against the United States would launch their nukes.
There's some really good ones in here. Hitler 2 clothing store. You know about that one?
I was gonna mention that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's from the West Bank, I believe, or Gaza. I think it's from Gaza. Yeah, Gaza City. This is like this has been a known thing. It's like, this is pre-October 7th, by the way. They created the Hitler 2 shop.
Was there a Hitler 1 shop?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
okay.
Hitler 2 store spawns copycat. Israel National News. Just so you guys know, if you were one, that was a Cairo store. A Cairo store owner of Cairo store named Hitler says he didn't intend to offend anyone. I'm sure. I'm so sure. I'm so sure by that. I'm sure. These are just a bunch of degenerate people, and like the thing is that a lot of people like shopped there. It was very popular. I remember when that was on social media. God, we've got.
You want to do gay Hamas leader?
Yeah. There's a great okay, Mahmoud Ishtiwi. Great video was made by a Jewish creator. I want to give him a shout out. Let's go on YouTube real quick. I want to plug his video because it's really good, and I highly recommend anybody. Honestly, I didn't know anything about this until very recently. Did you know about this guy, Jack?
I only learned about it because I was looking at the Iceberg, and someone mentioned it in the Reddit comments.
So here he is. This is the channel, Hasmonian Historian. Watch his channel and watch this video. It's amazing. He gives you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. It's a fantastic video. And it's basically like the story is that there was like a closeted gay leader of Hamas who was tortured and murdered. And it caused a big mess within Hamas and within Palestinian society.
Obviously today it's probably not the most shocking thing in the world to hear.
Yeah, probably not at all. I'm interested in the Janine's Visitor Center. I don't know what it is, but Janine's Visitors Center. Let's see what this is all about.
Well, I know Janine is always like a hotbed for terrorist activities.
Janine is like the hotbed of Palestinian extremism in the West Bank. Janine West Bank Visitors Center. I don't know what that. It might also be a figure of speech. Oh no! No way!
It's a real visitor center.
Are you kidding me? They actually have a visitor center? That's crazy. Is it just like a really shitty visitor center?
It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks like semi-decent.
It actually looks like a pretty normal building.
Looks like it looks like a totally normal building. I'm surprised. Okay, I don't know what we probably missed.
There's definitely something we're missing.
Yeah, we're missing something for sure in that one. Like people are probably like typing us a mean comment.
They're like, "Whoa, guys, it's not a fun place. Don't go."
Okay, I don't know. Should we go back? Should we go deeper in? I say.
Yeah, let's go down.
God, Palestinian smuggling phones inside people is also good, but we'll skip it. Okay, we're at the bottom two tiers right now. Where do we start? Oh my God, there's some really good ones here.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Arafat died of AIDS one?
No, or vaguely.
It was also like a theory. It was a theory. I remember going around as I was a kid. I remember hearing that as a kid, that Arafat died of AIDS. There was talks that he was also like engaging in homosexual activity.
Oh.
Yeah, see, this is like the top corridor. Is it true that Arafat was a homosexual and died of AIDS? They tested him for HIV and it came back negative a few times. Most assume that he was poisoned, but who knows? Who knows what happened to Yasser Arafat? But we know that the world is a better place without him. That's what we know. Let's see here. What else?
How about Jewish state in Vietnam?
That's a good one too.
So,
yeah.
Do you know the story?
Briefly, but like inform us.
So in 1946, before he was prime minister, David Ben Gurion, had met, I believe, I don't know if he was the president of Vietnam at the time, or he became president, but basically someone who either would become president or was president that offered to make like a Jewish state within Vietnam on their behalf if the whole establishing Israel didn't work out.
Mm. That's really cool, actually, of Vietnam to like offer that.
It was something that I had no idea about.
Yeah.
Also, which is pretty cool.
It's really dope. Actually, like a lot of Israelis.
It's nice to even get the offer.
Yeah. Vietnam's a pretty cool place, too. I traveled there. It was really lovely, and the people are super cool. Obviously, the country's not perfect. It's got issues. But it's a cool place, and they generally really like Israelis there. Like you get a lot of love as an Israeli on the streets there. There's so many Israeli travelers that come there. Let's see what else. Indonesian Hashem Melech controversy. Do you know that one?
Nope.
Are you supposed to know everything in an Iceberg video?
No, the whole point. I mean, it depends. But the whole point is that some of it we would have to research.
I don't know this one, and I'm not finding really good information on it.
Oh, I the way you were saying it, I thought you meant.
How did a popular Israeli song enter Indonesian politics? Israeli singer Gad Elbaz, I know him, caught up in a contentious Jakarta governor's race. The campaign for governor of Jakarta is uniquely rancorous one, pitting incumbent Christian Basuki. I'm not even going to try. But the biggest issue swamping the campaign in recent days is the use of a song purportedly attributed to the popular Jewish singer Gad Elbaz. Oh, I see. So they used the song in the election or something, and it caused the uproar? Okay. All right. That's kind of like a lame one to put this deep in, I feel. I'm not a huge fan of this one, this tier. I feel like we're about to get to like the best and they just kind of snipped us here. I'm ready to...
Well, it's also things that are like less known. So for instance, the Kahana kills Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one stood out to me, so I had to do a quick Google search.
Okay.
And apparently, for those who don't know, Mayor Kahana was a Jewish American rabbi that led the JDL, which is the Jewish Defense League, which was an organization that would go after, I guess, Nazis in America. But I did look up some articles, and it said that they were apparently extorting Tupac. So I guess the idea is that the extortion didn't go well, and they may have been the ones that killed him. But I would imagine that that's just some conspiracy.
Interesting.
But it sounds like a fun conspiracy. I'm sure there's way more details that we'll go over if we make a full video.
Yeah, that could be an interesting one to jump right into, like just that one. All right, let's go into like the last tier, because I think there's some really interesting ones here. Probably my favorite one. I'm gonna just start off with Petah Tikva. Petah Tikva. Petach Tikva is. Let's pull up a Google Maps. 'Cause we're gonna go down the fucking rabbit hole here. So strap in.
Yes.
Okay, let's start with Jack. You tell me what you know about Petach Tikva as in the context of this.
What do you mean? It doesn't exist.
It's the best answer you could have given, to be honest.
It's not there.
It's the best answer you could have given.
I've never seen it.
It is the best answer you could have given. Okay, so Petach Tikva roughly translates into the opening of hope. That's how I like to say it. It's a suburb of Tel Aviv on the northern end, so you can see where Tel Aviv is. This is Tel Aviv. This is Petach Tikva. I'll move the thing here a little bit. This is Petach Tikva. This is Tel Aviv. This is like the sort of central district of Israel, Mishor Chof, like the coastal central district of Israel. Petach Tikva, I don't know. Since when I was a kid, it wasn't like this, but like it became. I don't want to like destroy the meme and explain it because that'll just kill it. But like, if you ever grew up with the idea of North Dakota not existing as a kid in America, that's like almost what Petach Tikva has become in Israel. I'm gonna plug quick merch real quick again because I made merch specifically about this. This is also another one of our dope Clat shirts. Literally, the back logo of the shirt says, "Where are you going? Opening of Hope or Grandpa Village," and that's directly referencing the two cities that are next to each other, Kfar Saba, Grandpa Village, and the Opening of Hope, Petach Tikva. It's a really cool design. I highly suggest you buy it if you want to support the channel. And also wear some cool merch. But yes, it's, like Petach Tikva has just become this like enigma of weirdness, of jokes, of, Uri Cohen, if you guys know who he is, a pretty staunch activist on Instagram for Israel and Zionism, has sort of started like the Free Petach Tikva movement to combat the Free Palestine movement, and like successfully duped like many pro-Palestinians to chant with him in America several times to Free Petach Tikva, which is hilarious. And that's like carried on all over the world from the river to the sea. Petach Tikva will be free. It's absolutely hilarious. It's ridiculous. And yeah, like I feel like the best way to sort of explain it without destroying the meme and like going too deeply into the meta of it, it's like Jack explained it perfectly. Ask of like, what is Petach Tikva, and just answer with, it doesn't exist. Does it actually exist? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. There's so many good ones on this one.
Well, the next one that I was thinking about was the Tel Aviv Central Bus Station.
Yes.
Is the back rooms.
Okay. Should we?
So
I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe like a lot of the viewers watching this video don't know what the back rooms are. If you guys don't know what the back rooms are, super interesting. I got really into it at one point and then I got out of it. I don't know how to explain it. It's like an internet thing. It's a fictional thing that was conjured up, I think, on like 4chan, of this idea of that you could blip out of reality and into this place called the back rooms. Okay, and there's a lot of videos on it. There's games made about it. Find it all over the place. Do you have a better way to explain it, Jack?
I would just say it's like the back rooms like encapsulates like this like idea of like this like empty space that like it feels like there should be like things going on there, but really it's just like an big empty space. And then there's people who added on the like mystical elements of like horror of like there's a monster that's gonna get you if you're there.
Yeah.
But it really it's more like this feeling like there should be kind of stuff that's going on here, but it's kind of creepy, and it's just like this big open space.
And so there's actually a real place that exists like that in Israel called the Tel Aviv Central Bus Station. It is the blemish upon Israel society. It is a disgusting, horrific place. Also, in a lot of ways, it's fantastic because it is like home to like a very, I would say, low-income immigrant neighborhood from all over the world, with really authentic restaurants from East Africa, North Africa, Southeast Asia, South Asia. Like, it's both wonderful and horrific at the same time. This is the entrance of what it looks like. It's like under this overpass. And it's just like, it's disgusting. I've made a video inside of it. When my mom was a little girl, it was like a beacon shining light mall of Israel that people went to and like shopped in and loved. This is kind of like what it looks like when it looks okay. But I'm gonna show you guys. I made a video.
Yeah, you're not showing like the grimy pictures here.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you the video of it.
Yeah, show your because you did a video there that I think. Yeah, there we go. That's much more back rooms.
Yeah, it is very much the back rooms. I've been there many a time in the middle of the night, arriving on a bus, and it's just a horrific experience. Like it's actually terrifying, and like I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. Like arriving there on a bus from Eilat in the middle of the night is actually terrifying. Like you get there in the middle of the night, it's just you want to die.
Yeah, it's just like this place that feels like it used to be lived in.
Yeah.
And there's just like nothing going on.
I've seen human poop on the floor there. This was like a room,
what is that?
A room full of organs, poison. There was like a message of hope written on one of the walls here.
Like, there's definitely parts of the bus station that look fairly normal.
Yeah.
And then there's parts of it that are just straight up creepy.
It's not all bad. You see, there's like an Asian supermarket. Like, I'm here inside of the Asian supermarket at one point. Like a Filipino supermarket. But there's also like a part, like here, yeah, this is the exact part of the video, where somebody like wrote a poem where the lights were like flashing on and on that says like, it's a poem about getting stuck there in the middle of the night. It's literally a poem about like not losing hope as you try to find your way out of the central bus station in the middle of the night. It's it's crazy and creepy because in this back corner, if you were to come here in the middle of the night, you would literally, all the hairs on the back of your head would be standing up. It's a terrifying place in the middle of the night. It really is super scary. I'm yet to make a video there in the middle of the night. I may conjure up the balls to do it at some point soon. This is a video I made during the day, and I hated every moment of making the video because exploring it was like not something I wanted to do. But I live relatively close to it now, so like I go there kind of often to buy, like, if I need specific spices or if I want some cheap food. It's not the worst place in the world. But yeah, generally a blemish on Israeli society. Hopefully a place... It's supposed to be... It's supposed to have been taken down like a million times. In 2011, it was supposed to be destroyed. In 2015, it was supposed to be destroyed. It's just not happening. And I think most people want it gone and like something else built there. But also, like, I understand that like there's a lot of people who live there because it's a cheap neighborhood, so that's not the best solution to that. And like there is sort of like a semi-culture developing there, and there is like a little bit of a magic to it, I will say. Okay, Aan Morad being an actual spy in the Mossad. Aan Morad, if you guys don't know, character by Sacha Baron Cohen. I'm not going to show any clips from it just in case they copyright us, but highly suggest you watch it because it's hilarious. He's a Mossad agent spy that Sacha Baron Cohen conjured up. And I, till the day I die, believe he's an actual Mossad agent, or at least based on somebody. What do you think, Jack? Hello? Did I lose you? Oh, he's muted. He's muted, mate. Okay, this next one I'm going to show. This next one I'm going to show is Amir Hon getting hit by chair. Okay, I don't condone violence against people in this manner, but I would be lying if the video is not absolutely hilarious. It's funny, and it's hard not to laugh. You don't want to laugh about something like this, but it's hard not to. So to give context, Amir Hon is a controversial professor. I don't really know if you could call him a professor, who is very anti-Zionist, very anti-Israel, and he was giving some talk. He got hit in the head with a chair, as you can see in the video, started bleeding, and immediately grabbed and like opened this guy's shirt when he got hit in the head. I hope it's blurry enough that YouTube doesn't strike us for this, but yeah, the thing is here, Amir Hon got hit by the chair that turns you gay. He sort of immediately does a little bit of like a weird... I mean, the poor guy's got knocked out. It's hard to say poor guy though, because he actually is such like a he's really bad. Like he's not a great guy. He's a blemish on Israeli society, I would say. He's not something I would wear with pride ever and be like, oh, this is like the saving grace of Israel. So that's a pretty hilarious one.
Yep.
God, the last one here, I don't really know what to say about the Rebbe puts up his own posters.
That's the one that I was going to point out. I know. So basically, what this is referring to is the Rebbe of Chabad Lubavitch,
right?
Which he passed away in the early 90s.
Well, to some people he passed away. There's others that don't believe
that's
that.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Some have the belief that he didn't die and that he's actually still alive. Some people believe it in kind of more of a spiritual sense. But basically, you'll see these posters in either New York or in a lot of places in Israel of it saying Mashiach is here, the Messiah is here. And I guess the conspiracy is that the Rebbe himself is putting it up if he's still alive. But I would not imagine that even if he was still alive, he would be putting up posters of himself.
It's interesting. The Rebbe is a relatively big part of my life. I would say also probably yours, Jack, but not in the way where we like think he is the Messiah. There are Jews, even Jews that I know that do subscribe to that belief. I don't personally, but you know, it's an interesting line of thought. It's a kind of a crazy theory. I don't really know how much deeper to go into that one. I honestly think we're like probably at the edge of the iceberg right now. I don't really think we should go.
This is way under the iceberg.
Yeah.
Israel
nukes are a bluff. How do you feel about that one? Just to sort of end off.
That's probably a great one to round it off with. This is also a pretty common conspiracy. I don't think that Israel's bluffing about it, just because, let's be honest, like they probably more than have the know-how on how to build it.
But imagine if they were bluffing. Imagine if they were bluffing.
It'd be the biggest bluff in history.
Wow, it would be the king of all bluffs. That'd be a crazy bluff. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this video. Support the channel by buying some new, hot, fresh merch. Be one of the first people to support the Traveling Clat. We've got so many different merch options. This is just 1, 2. You could buy a mug. Come on, get the mug. Look how cute that shit is. We got that dodo bird on there. Support the channel. Thanks.
Great looking mug.
Thanks, Jack, for being a part of the video with me, and thanks to everybody who was watching on the Discord the entire time. Shout out to you guys on the Discord who are watching. Join our Discord. It's absolutely free. Become a patron, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you a long time. Goodbye, class.
If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to monetarily support the channel. Some of the best ways to support me happen to be PayPal, buy me a coffee, or joining our Patreon community. Links to them can be found in the pinned comments or the description of every one of my videos. Joining my Patreon community gives you access to exclusive content and the chance to talk to me on our Discord server. I also go live almost every day here on YouTube. And after my live streams, me and my patrons from Patreon head over to our Discord server to an exclusive after-party hangout. Your support is the only way that I can keep creating the content that you love watching for me. Thank you.